Hi everyone, thank you for joining in. This is Donald Hart. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Donald Hart. I work with the local New York Life office in Norfolk, Virginia. I do a lot with retirement planning, protecting assets, and making sure your income lasts as long as you do.
And of course, you all know me. I'm Essence with True Chic. Again, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. So today we're going to be talking about some not so fun stuff, but fun stuff, because we all know we have to handle things that are important in life planning, our future planning. We all plan to do very well financially and, make good money. But what about those things we don't like to talk about, like death? What happens to us? What happens to us if we get sick? Are you investing? Do you have life insurance? Do you have health insurance? All the important stuff that you need to be an adult.
Yeah.
So tell them about it, Donald.
So I deal with retirement planning a lot. And one of the things people overlook are those things that we can't control, which is our health, things, emergencies, the roof leaks, the car breaks, tires are flat. So a lot of planning for your future deals with planning for today and planning for the unexpected things that can happen. One, people pass away. It's sad, but some people pass away before they even reach retirement. It's up to 30% of people don't make it to 65. So it's making sure, one, you have enough coverage, life insurance, or assets to cover how much income you bring in. Because if you have people that depend on you, whether it's a spouse or kids or parents, and your income's gone and there's nothing to replace that income, they could be affected too. And I've seen this from people that passed early. It really affects families in not a very good way. So I like to make sure that that's taken care of as well. Another thing is if you're sick or hurt, let's just say you can't work, you get an accident, a health situation arises, and you can't work. Well, your income stops as well. So one thing that we like to talk about a little bit is disability insurance. Most companies offer some sort of disability coverage, whether it's short-term or long-term, but I like to make sure people have that done as well, because if your income stops, that will eat through your savings. And when we talk about retirement, some retirement vehicles, if you take it out before a certain time frame, there's penalties and taxes. So I like to make sure the base is covered, your protection's covered, and then we build on top of that.
Yeah. And I think that's important, especially let's talk about the people that's mainly entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We know a lot of entrepreneurs, coming up, starting, or already in their business doing good, but they don't have this type of stuff into play. Then they get sick and something happens. So me, myself, being an entrepreneur, I felt like this would be great. So you can chime in on some of those things that some of the people in our audience who are entrepreneurs can definitely maximize on, benefit from, because when you're your own boss, we know if you get sick, if you go down, what happens? You're not making money,
yeah,
right?
The business is suffering
exactly,
too, yeah.
Especially if you're not so big, you're not a big chain.
You're up and coming.
Exactly,
yeah,
you're up and coming, and you might not have hit that 100,000-aire status yet. So you want to definitely take all the steps necessary to ensure that, number one, you're protected, but your assets are too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And this whole picture, it comes together. It's not just one thing. It's not just retirement planning or protection or life insurance. It's the whole picture. Because if you don't have disability insurance and you're sick, well, you're going to eat through your savings, your bank account. You're going to eat through retirement savings next, and then after that's gone, then what? Then you move in with family. So it's really important for especially newer business owners to have the basics done. Have the basics, like having your protection taken care of, having some money in the bank for any of those unexpected emergencies, and making sure if you're gone, whether you're sick or hurt or you have to take time off, that there are key people or there's some sort of a buffer that will take place if you can't work, that can hire someone else to come in or just have some income coming in for yourself.
All right. Now, Donald, tell them about some of the plans that you offer that can assist in, I guess you can say, making sure those type of situations are covered. If you are sick, God forbid, death happens, what can someone do to insure themselves, their businesses? And we'll get into the investment parts later. But what can we do to make sure, if you're an entrepreneur, I like to chime in on that because that's pretty much what my channel is built off of, me and my brand and entrepreneurship going through the journey. what should they do, or what should they look into subscribing to or signing up for? And of course, he's in Virginia, so if you're local, you can definitely check him out. But if you're not, I'm going to put his information down in the comments, so you can also reach out to him to tell them about some of the plans that you offer.
So first and foremost, it's really about meeting with a professional, whether you have your own or I can help as well. Just meeting with someone, because sometimes insurance for like life, let's say life insurance, some people need it and some people don't. So why pay for something you might not need? So that's why we have people in this industry that will go through the ins and outs of what's your income if you pass, what income do you need to continue to go on, and do you have enough assets to cover that? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, maybe having more savings or having a life insurance policy makes sense.
So what can you offer our viewers here as far as, what if you get sick and you're an entrepreneur? What can you offer them? Because you have to come to my friend Donald here. So tell them how you can be of assistance to them to secure their future, secure their assets, secure everything that's important to them, so they're not in a slump. So we want you guys to plan accordingly, because like myself, I have a plan that works for me. That's my next step, actually, as my business grow, to go into something to ensure that my business assets are covered. So can you offer?
So really, I want to stress again, working with a professional, because all of these things come together. You know, I don't do personal bank products like CDs and money markets and bank accounts, but it's really important to have that done. So once we have that done and have all our protections in place, or have enough assets to protect things, then we start building. We start building with investments, with long-term savings. There are a million different ways to build long-term savings. But the most important part is, one, having that protection done, and then getting to the next step, which is retirement planning, investment planning. It's also really important to take a look at the tax situation of certain investments, because some things you have to keep it until you're 59 and a half. Certain things are taxable when you take it out. Certain things are taxable every year, and certain things are taxable only when you put it in and not when you take it out. So that's another thing
that has to think about. All right. Now, what about, I know I have a pretty good life insurance policy. They even called me back and gave me some more for a little bit of change. It was not that expensive. So what do you do? Say, for instance, someone who's 25, let's say. You're 25, you're vibrant, you're living life, you're healthy. How do you get them to sign up for a life insurance policy?
Well, it's a good idea to have life insurance when you're younger for a few reasons. One is, if you become sick later in life, you have that policy already.
Yes, and you said something to me that was very important. You can't wait to get sick, then think about life insurance.
Oh,
Tell
yeah,
them about that.
Oh, it's rough, because I have a lot of clients that are sick and young. So, one, the premiums are a lot higher, so you're spending more money that you didn't have to spend. And two, when you're older, life insurance premiums go up as well. So life insurance is based on a few things. It's based on your health today, your age, and your gender. So the older you get, the more expensive it is, and the worse your health, the more expensive it is as well.
There you go. So you also told me about long-term health care.
Oh, yeah.
That is something that is a hot topic, ladies and gentlemen. And to be honest with you, don't think that you don't need it, or you're too young to have it. The reason why I say, because I had a foot surgery, and I actually had in-home health care because I had that coverage on my insurance. But that can be pretty expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a small home health care business, so I know if you're not having any insurance, or you're not able to get covered through like Medicaid, Medicare, that can be pretty expensive.
That's another thing that'll eat through retirement money fast,
There
too.
you go.
At least in Hampton Roads, the cost of care is over $200 a day.
Yeah, see?
And you can attest to that.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes more if you need 24-hour care. So I don't want anyone to take life for granted. I want you to be covered. So this is why I think this is very important, because again, even through just the plain foot surgery, you know, I've experienced having to be home and needing someone to come in and care for me and change my dressings, things of that. I mean, it's not free. You got to have that coverage, ladies and gentlemen. So keep that in mind. And the protection part, that's the part you're speaking of, where that's the different types of insurance that you have.
Insurances are making sure you have assets to cover if something unexpected happens.
Say, I'll leave Donald's information down, because this is something that's general to get awareness out there, because we're pretty young, you know, but we're taking the steps that we're supposed to ensure our future is taken care of and secure, not to mention if anything happens, because we can't plan the unexpected, right?
Yeah. I wish we could.
Exactly.
Yes,
so we're prepared. So to close up everything, to kind of Google or look into, so they can kind of come at you when they want to know more information and have a clue of what they're going to talk about to you.
Yeah. So first and foremost, work with a professional, whether you have your own or I can help you work with them. 2 is every situation is different. So we're giving this really broad advice. Everyone's really unique, and that's why it's important to sit down to figure out exactly what your goals are, exactly what you have, and exactly where you want to be. The third thing is just some of the things I can help people out with. Again, retirement planning, whether it's through investments, mutual funds, through fixed accounts. I can do life insurance and disability coverage. I can do long-term care planning and Medicaid planning to make sure if you have one of those long-term care events, long-term medical care events, that there's a plan in place and you're not having it sit on family members or having to go on Medicaid when you could have prevented that.
Exactly. There you go. So I think that's some good information here to bring awareness to our audience of how important it is to plan for your future. And you know what? Another thing I also wanted to add was how important it is to have beneficiaries.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I can't close
legal
without saying
planning.
that. Exactly. Yeah. Because again, I'm on the front line with it. I have people calling in my job to try to disconnect. We can't do that because their name is not on the account. You know, they don't have power of attorney. They don't have any type of anything stating that I'm here to help this person. So, so always remember, in life planning, Donald is going to bring all that awareness to you. Less stress and frustration by taking these steps in advance.
It's huge. I mean, I'm a big proponent of that, because if you can do all the financial work, but if you don't have the legal documents to back it up, it can cause really bad situations. Like the power of attorney lets you to act on someone else's behalf. Medical directive allows you to make decisions for someone else if they're critically ill and on the edge. Then there's wills and trusts, which makes sure your assets pass down correctly to the people you wanted to pass down to.
And this is the main type of stuff that you want to take care of. It definitely eliminates a lot of frustration, and I can promise you it's going to be very important for you to do these things. So again, my goal was to bring this awareness and to bring not just my life insurance agent here, but a good friend who can definitely help you throughout your planning process. So please take this. Very important. We like to have fun and we like to live life because it's so short. This is why you need Donald. So this is why I bring Mr. Donald Hart to you today. Again, he's with New York Life Insurance. Offer you a host of other things in your future planning and ensure that you're covered and protected. So please take awareness. I will leave all Donald's information in the comment section. You can reach out to him. He'll be there to help you as much as possible.
Yeah.
So,
and one other thing, just don't forget, make sure you enjoy life now and later, because we don't know how long we're going to be here, and 2, we want to make sure we live a nice long life too if we get to that age.
I'm glad you said that, Donald. Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this information. You find it valuable and you found it important to call Mr. Hart and get the information you need to make sure you're being an adult. Thank you so much for joining in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have things you want to talk about, you think you want to hear about, please put it in the comment section. Thank you again. We're saying bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.